Who is this actually good for? Who should skip it? And is it worth the price for normal everyday buyers? Those are the 3 questions that keep popping up whenever someone mentions a mini PC as the next office upgrade. If you've ever stood in a cramped cubicle trying to fit a tower under a monitor arm, or you've tried to hide a bulky desktop in a shared workspace, you know the hesitation. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the HP EliteDesk 800G9 Mini really brings to the table, where it shines, and where it starts to feel like a compromise. First, let's talk about the core dilemma. A mini PC promises a tiny footprint, but does it sacrifice the performance you need for a day of spreadsheets, video calls, and the occasional light creative task? The EliteDesk packs a 14th Gen Intel Core i5-14500, which is a 14-core chip designed for business workloads. In real-world office use that translates to instant app launches, smooth multitasking with dozens of browser tabs, and no lag when you throw a PowerPoint deck onto a 4K screen. I've spent a full workday with the machine running Outlook, Teams, a couple of Chrome windows, and an Excel model that pulls data from an ODBC source. The CPU never hit a noticeable bottleneck, and the 32 GB of DDR5 RAM kept everything fluid, even when I opened Photoshop to touch up a few product photos. For anyone whose daily routine revolves around productivity suites, data analysis, and occasional light design work, the performance level feels more than adequate. Now, the physical size. The EliteDesk's ultra-compact chassis measures roughly the size of a small book, which means you can tuck it behind a monitor or mount it to the back of a desk with a Visa bracket. In a shared office where desk real estate is at a premium, that's a genuine advantage. You won't need a dedicated floor space, and you can keep cable clutter to a minimum because the unit comes with a keyboard and mouse already paired. For remote workers who have a single monitor at home and want a dedicated work machine that doesn't dominate the desk, the tiny footprint is a win. Ports are another practical concern. This model offers a solid mix of USB-A, USB-C, HDMI, DisplayPort, and Ethernet, which covers the typical business setup. I connected 2 4K monitors, one via HDMI and the other through DisplayPort, and both ran at native resolution without any flicker. The Ethernet port gave a stable wired connection, crucial for video conferences that can't tolerate Wi-Fi hiccups. If you're used to a tower with a dozen USB ports, you might notice that the Mini has fewer slots, but the inclusion of a USB-C with power delivery means you can daisy-chain a hub for extra peripherals without cluttering the desk. Thermals and fan noise are often the Achilles heel of small form-factor PCs. The EliteDesk's cooling system is modest. There's a single low-profile fan that draws air from the back and exhausts it out the side. During light office tasks, the fan is virtually silent, barely a whisper. When I pushed the CPU with a prolonged PowerPoint rendering, the fan spun up noticeably but stayed under 35 dB, which is still quieter than a typical office printer. The chassis does get warm to the touch after several hours of continuous load, but it never throttles enough to affect productivity. So, if you value a quiet environment for calls or focused work, the thermal design is acceptable for the workload it's built for. Upgradability is a realistic concern for anyone buying a desktop. The EliteDesk lets you swap the 1TB NVMe SSD, which is handy if you need more storage or faster drives down the line. The RAM is soldered in 2 slots, and you can replace the modules up to the maximum supported capacity, although the motherboard limits you to 64 GB total. In practice, most office users won't need that much, but the ability to upgrade the SSD without opening a full tower is a nice touch. What you can't do is add a dedicated graphics card. There's simply no room. For tasks that need GPU horsepower, such as intensive video editing, 3D rendering, or high-end gaming, this is a hard limit. So, who should buy this mini PC? If you're a small business owner setting up a handful of workstations, a remote employee needing a reliable Windows 11 Pro machine that fits behind a monitor, or a freelancer who wants a dedicated office box that doesn't steal desk space, the EliteDesk 800G9 checks those boxes. Its enterprise-grade connectivity, built-in security features of Windows 11 Pro, and the ability to run 4K displays make it a solid choice for multi-screen productivity. The included keyboard and mouse also reduce the need to source additional accessories, which helps the overall cost feel more justified. Who should skip it? If you're a gamer, a video editor who regularly works with 4K footage, or a CAD professional who relies on GPU acceleration, you'll hit the ceiling quickly. The lack of a discrete GPU and the limited upgrade path for graphics mean you'll be constrained to integrated graphics, which are fine for